Jags Nation. This is the Action Sports Jags postgame show, sponsored by Farah and Farah, the exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars.
Well, there it is, a nightmare in Nashville. Again, the House of Horrors strikes. You just watched it. I just watched it. I have no words, and yet I'm going to give you plenty of words for the next 58 minutes. Hi, everybody. Dan Hicken here. The season is over. There are no playoffs. There is no wild card. There is no AFC South championship. There's nothing at all, and there's no in between. I said earlier today, and most of you agreed with me on this, there's no in between this year. If you win like you should have, you win the AFC South championship, you go to the playoffs for the second straight year, you host a playoff game, and I tip my cap to a really good, if not great, season. If you lose because you were 8-3, this season is an abject failure, a major disappointment. And we just went up to Tennessee and lost the game in the first half, in the second half. I have questions about every single person, again, with the organization. The defense tackled horrifically in the first half, especially. 21 points. Derrick Henry put a knife in us one more time. More yards rushing today than he's had in any game this season. Ryan Tannehill, who had 2 touchdown passes this year. The Titans' offensive line, which had given up 62 sacks on the season, gave us 2 today that really didn't much matter a whole lot. And I thought Trevor was going to play great. And we had 2 opportunities at the end to get this game tied up and came away with no points. We were dead and buried at 28-13. We got to 28-20. Cisco gets a pick. And the lack of urgency by the offense, where we're just tick, 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 was maddening for you, for me. We're going to stay with you. We're going to give it to you all. We're going to give you the Peterson presser. We're going to give you the Trevor presser. We're going to hear from players. But it's like a role reversal of last year, man. 8-3 a year ago. 8-3 this year, playing for the number 1 seed against Cincinnati, to 9-8 now to the playoffs. Last year, won our last, 5? To get to 9-8. We were 4-8, 5 in a row, and get into the playoffs. We just opened the door for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills. And you know what? They deserve it. We're on the goal line, 3rd and 1. And we roll out and throw the football away. And then 4th and 1, we decide to go for it. Okay. We call the quarterback sneak. Trevor Lawrence would have had to be 12 feet tall from that. If you're at the 1, a yard is what? People, work with me, 3 feet. If you're at the 1-yard line and you're the quarterback, that means the center and the quarterback, that means you're at about the 2-yard line. That is 6 feet. Trevor Lawrence is a tall guy. His arms aren't 6 feet long. He reaches over, but of course there's no push. Spread out, run the football in. Not that hard. No clean football again. I don't even care about stats today because some of them will be nice, but Evan Ingram's drop killed us. I said I don't care about him. 6 penalties. I thought the refs were terrible. Doesn't matter. We were worse. We were worse than the refs. I'm not blaming them. Not going to do it. Not going to let you do it. I'm not going to do it. If we had played a good football game, it'd be different. Nope. We were terrible. I said Evan Ingram had a ton of catches. Second most catches in the history of the NFL by a tight end. And guess what? Right in his hands, ball pops up, interception. We throw another interception as well. We get the ball back, 28-20, minute 47. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the Denver game in London last year. We got the ball back. We need a chance. It's a defining moment for Trevor and the offense. And we can't even get a first down. Lawrence Graham, I tell people all the time, in a 2-minute drill, getting the ball to the 50 is the easiest thing in the NFL. You just hit little passes up because they're laying back. They don't want to get beat deep. They almost let us beat them deep, but we didn't. Trevor scrambles for 8 yards. We got 2nd and 2. Take a shot down the field. I'm okay with that. Great call. Wide open. Trev, you got to deliver it. You missed him. Ridley, you got to lay out for it. You didn't. Fault both sides. 3rd and 2. I don't know what we're trying to do. Has to throw it over Tim Jones' head because he was covered. Tim Jones, 3rd and 2. We're trying to hit a 12-yard pass. 4th and 2. Everybody covered. Throws it a foot over Evan Ingram's head. Season's over. We can't just run it back out and flip it to him? Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. So, I don't know. I don't want to do the obit yet. I just want to talk about this game. But as we go forward, who knows what's going to be done? Probably nothing, per usual. But I think that there should be some repercussions from this collapse that the Jaguars have had this December. And I mean, make no bones about it. It was a collapse. We back them up to the 1-yard line. What do we do when we talk about playing clean football? Somehow we jump off sides. We jump into the neutral zone. What are we doing? What are we doing? They move the ball, get it out to the, 40-yard line, kill time. Just kill time. And in the end, they were better than us. Tennessee stuck it to us one more time. It's the DNA of the franchise. I'm going to take you back 6 weeks ago. And I told people, it's vitally important, no matter what, for this team to win the division. It matters. Going back-to-back matters. Even if we had gone on to play Cleveland next week at home and lost the game. It matters to get into the tournament. It matters for a Jaguar franchise. It doesn't matter for other ones. For us, it matters. No words. Most important game of the year. Played terrible. Terrible football. Terrible football all the way around. And look at December. Loss. Oh, we beat the Panthers, who, by the way, got shut out by the Bucs today. Panthers didn't score the last 2 weeks and lost to the Titans. I mean, we talked about at the beginning of the year, these 3 games where we could make things up. We went 1-2. We went 1-2 in these 3. I mean, September's a long time ago, man. It's just no words. No words. I can sit here and call them names like I did, after the Tampa game, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Somebody's got to do something. The owner has to assess everything and figure out. And listen, it's a winning season. It's the most hollow winning season in the history of the franchise. We haven't had a ton of winning seasons, but it's the most hollow winning season in the history of the franchise. We were 8-3 a month ago. 8-3, and now we're 9-8, and it's done. It's over. It's finito. I thought Trevor had some good moments, and I thought Trevor had some bad moments. It was kind of typical Lawrence. I just don't. There's something not right with that offense, guys. There's something not right. They're not in. They've been playing 17 weeks. They go through training camp together, and they're not on the same page. How many times did you hear Trent Green go, I don't know if they're on the same page. I don't know if they're on the same page. I don't know if they're on the same page. I don't know if they're on the same page. over and over and over again. It's maddening, man. And now we're left here heading into January with nothing. No postseason, no playoff games. We've got a young Houston team we're going to have to deal with now with C.J. Stroud. And I still don't know about Trevor Lawrence. I still don't know. I don't know if it's the coaches, the coordinator, the receivers, I don't know. I know this. I bet I could go look at his, what did he end up with, 13, 14 interceptions this year? Half of them went off guys' hands. And I bet another 4 of them were miscommunications. Battled through injury, played hard. You know, things got to change, man. That offensive line has to change. The interior of the defensive line has to change. We knew that Derrick Henry was going to. How are we not ready? How is the defense not ready to take on Derrick Henry today? How? Everybody at home, everybody in the stands, every coach, every player knew who was going to get the football. Derrick Henry. 21-13. Okay, let's get a 3 now. We got to gift 3 points at the end of the half because the punter dropped the ball. Let's just stop them and get going here in the second half. What do? Derrick Henry right up the middle. Second play of the half. Right up the middle. And we sit here and cry about guys not getting in the Pro Bowl? I want to rethink that one. Who deserved the Pro Bowl? Josh. I guess a long snapper. I don't know. I mean, I guess, what do we got good news here? Save our money for the playoff tickets. Okay. So we get that money back, use that money wisely, take a vacation, go decompress, go to Cabo with the players. They're headed there, I'm sure. It's just a bummer. Just a big bummer. Just a big pile of steamy bummer is what we got right there. And the season ends. It's like out of the blue. That was a 5-win team, man, that used, I think they said in the broadcast, 84 football players this year. And we couldn't beat them. We couldn't beat them. I can't wait to hear Doug Peterson. I can't wait to hear the players. I would like to know from the players why they weren't seemingly ready to play. How can you miss so many it was like you let the Tennessee Titans score 21 first-half points. 21. We got to 20, by the way. Game over once they got to 21. Game over, right? 1 yard line, 3rd and goal. Roll out. Nobody open. 2 guys in the pattern, totally covered. Trevor has to throw it away. 4th and goal. Quarterback sneak from a good 1.5 yards. 3 feet does not equal 9 feet. Here's Brent Martineau from the field.
We could start with sports can be cruel, or could say it's unbelievable, but is it really unbelievable? If you've been a Jags fan for a long time, Jaguars don't show up on defense in the first half. Derrick Henry, the hometown guy, ruins the Jaguars' playoff hopes, an AFC South divisional crown, by running all over them. His highest performance total of the season in his final game as a Tennessee Titan, most likely. And then there's the offensive side of things. The Jaguars got so close so many times. A couple of turnovers didn't help, but late in the game, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, the quarterback sneak comes up just short. And then on the final possession, 2nd and 2, and it looked like a beautiful play design to Calvin Ridley, just off his fingertips. And if it was on time, it might have been a touchdown for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's how close it was. It's kind of the NFL, but the Jaguars season comes to an end, and now the questions begin here in the offseason. Will everyone survive the collapse, losing 5 out of 6 games? What else do the Jaguars need to get back to the postseason, back on top in the AFC South? And how close really is this team from contending for a Super Bowl with some of the elite teams in the National Football League? Those are questions we weren't asking about 6 weeks ago when the Jags were vying for the top seed in the AFC. And they don't even make the postseason in the 2023 season. Let the offseason begin. It's going to be a long one. Always on the road with the Jacksonville Jaguars, this time in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Brett Martineau, Action Sports Jacks.
My heart breaks for you Jag fans who made the trip up there. You're not watching this now, but God bless you. Hope you had fun at least last night. Bucks beat the Panthers. They did what they're supposed to do. They won the AFC South. The Bengals hammered the Browns. The Browns played nobody. They brought Jeff Driscoll off from I don't know where he was to play the game. And Cincinnati went out in style, but they didn't make the playoffs either. Cleveland will play next week. Not here, but in Houston. The Saints hammered the Falcons. Wonder if that's the end of the Falcons head coach. Certainly going to be in the market for a quarterback. Bill Belichick's last game, loss to the New York Football Jets. Doesn't matter to either of those guys. Aaron Rodgers will be back next year in New York. Most people think Belichick won't be in New England, and they'll be in the market for a quarterback. They'll have a high draft pick, and we'll see what direction they go as we go around the NFL. Games that really don't matter, because all that matters here. Brett said something at the very end that was interesting. We get ready. The offseason begins now. Who was ready for that? Not me. Not me at all. Apparently, we're now told, and this is perfect, we got some technical issues on the streaming with Doug Peterson, so he's not up yet, but if we can get him, we will. We don't know if we'll be able to carry him. We will carry him tonight on Action Sports Jacks Primetime. We'll hang around a little bit here and wait for a couple players, and then we're getting out of here because I don't know if they really deserve much more of what I'm going to say. The South standings are up. Houston Texans are AFC South champions. The Jacksonville Jaguars are tied with the Indianapolis Colts at 9-8. Oh, my gosh. For weeks, we were right there at number 4. For weeks, fourth seed, right? You knock that thing down, too. Give us a new stadium. We need that, too. People aren't going to be real happy about that this offseason either. Oh, man. Jaguars. Jaguars are going to jag sometimes, and that's what they've done. I say this sometimes, but I really do mean it, man. The DNA of the franchise is not good, and this was a great opportunity in year 29 to start to change that. Got the coach, we think. Got the quarterback, we think. Made that run last year. We were ahead of schedule last year, but now we've gone backwards. See, that's the problem. This year, it's about making the playoffs again, and we didn't do that. Now we finished second, so we can now figure out who we're playing next year. Not that it matters. Again, these are all things that we shouldn't be doing right now. We should be talking about the win over Tennessee, being the AFC South champs, looking forward to working our way into the tournament, and somehow, some way, getting a shot at Cleveland and Joe Flacco, who's beatable, and then perhaps getting a chance to go up to Baltimore, where, we've played the Ravens tough. And I don't know what happened today. I really don't know what happened with these players. Was it the scheme? Was it the coaching? Was it the players? It's a combination of all things, I'm sure. But this team stopped the run so many times this year, and they couldn't stop the run today. That screen pass to Spears, he went down the sideline for their first touchdown. Terrible tackling, man. Just terrible tackling. All throughout the first half. Just missed tackle after missed tackle. offense that can't run the football. Man, and now how do you fix it? I mean, how do you fix it? You need help everywhere. Do you bring Calvin Ridley back? So many questions now. And who makes the decisions? I know if I asked the fans what they would say about the front office, I know there would be a change at general manager, and I get it. The draft last year was terrible. We got Anton Harrison. We had like 12 picks. We got Anton Harrison. It's just, I was looking on Twitter this week, and somebody tweeted out one of their mock drafts from last year before the draft, and if that guy had been our general manager, we'd be in the playoffs today. Legit, just a fan. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You know, it's got to be improvements. They've got to pay Josh Allen this offseason. You know, got to get another pass rusher. We had 2 pass rushers the whole year. Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker. That's it. Nobody else could rush the passer. Probably, it's got to be Kayvon Chason's last game. We'll probably sign him to a new deal. And they'll tell us, hey, we really like what Kayvon's done during this offseason. Again, nothing personal. I just, no good. The draft pick that we got from Louisville, he never dressed. I mean, so if he can't beat out that guy, I mean, you got to go find players, man. You got to draft, which we can't do. You got to develop, which we don't seem to do. You got to sign free agents, which we have had mixed success at. But I don't know, man. Be interesting to see where everybody's head is. Be interesting to see what Trevor Lawrence is thinking. Because I promise you this, Trevor Lawrence's camp, people around him, they're telling me it ain't his fault. You know, I'm sure there's a million reasons why this didn't work, that didn't work, this didn't work, that didn't work. But it is fair to say this about Trev. He did not have the season that any of us thought he was going to have, right? I mean, right now he's a quarterback in the NFL. He's a starting quarterback. And there's a myriad of reasons why. I'm not putting it all on Trevor Lawrence in any way, shape, or form. But, you know, the quarterback gets too much of the praise when you win, too much of the blame when you lose. They lost. He gets some blame. So that's where we are with him. Running backs, we got nobody backing up ETN. Can't go back next year with the same guys. Can't. Not good enough. Can't go back with the same receivers. Can't. Not good enough. Can't go back with the same offensive line. Not even close to being okay. Josh Allen with Brent.
What was the, obviously, you know, shell-shocked in light of this, but what was the post-game message from Doug, from some of the other coaches, from leaders?
Disappointing. I mean, you know, nobody came in here expecting us to lose, obviously. In the way we came in, it was just get better. Just get better.
For you, if this is, you know, the last game, potentially, that you have a Jaguar uniform on, do you allow yourself to think about that?
To think about
that this could be your last game?
You know, I'm disappointed that we lost this game. That's the only thing that I'm focused about. I want to find a way to get better, see if I could have, you know, played a more impactful part in this game, and that's what I'm, you know, focused on.
Josh, you guys feel like you just lost a little magic somewhere down the stretch of the season? Is something off?
Man, to be honest, man, it was, you know, like I said, speaking of last year, it was like we had a spark, we had a fire, we had a determination, we had a want. This year, we were looking for that spark. And like I said, we never got that lit. So we have to figure out if we do have one, we don't have one, find a way to win games. You know, this last 6 stretches of games, disappointing. Even last week, you know, obviously we got the win, but, you know, that's almost like a false hope. And we have to figure out, you know, what it was and how to maximize everybody's play. And if we can continue to do that, man, we'll be where we need to be. Because we got the guys, we got the talent, we got the trust, we got the locker room, we got the type of guys that can go out there and put their bodies on the line for each other. But when it's time to put on that fire, man, we gotta we got to turn it up a little notch, and that's about it.
I love Josh Allen. We don't have the guys. We don't have the guys. If we had the guys, we would have won. You played 17 football games. We're 9-8. We don't have the guys. We had a winning season, and that's it. And again, ahead of schedule last year, but a huge step back this year. Got to figure out what you're going to be. Got to figure out got to get some answers. And this is where things can start to fracture, too. So it'll be interesting to see, like, with Peterson and Balky, those two guys, are they going to clash? Are they in lockstep? Where are those two guys going forward? The owner's got to take charge of this franchise and figure out what's best for this franchise. Because what we saw over the last month is such a disappointment. And you had so much momentum, and you lost it all in one fall swoop. In 1 month. In 1 month, you lost all the momentum. It's all gone from last year. And every year is a different year. Next year will be a new year and blah, blah, blah. But I think when they walked off the field against the Chiefs last year in the playoffs, and they kind of were like, okay, now we know what it takes. We're going to be here. No, they didn't. They didn't learn. And they got arrogant in the front office. They got cocky. They thought they could win with what they had. They almost kind of ran it back. And it wasn't good enough. You got to either, in the NFL, you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. And the Jags moved backwards this year because they missed on the draft, right? They missed on the draft. The interior, now listen, Devon Hamilton never even talked about his injury, or it wasn't really an injury, his back issue. I don't know what it was, but he signed a big contract in the offseason. He was having a great camp. But that happens, man. We lose guys in the NFL all the time. Guys get hurt. Guys step up. It's the history of it. So we didn't have enough depth. We didn't have enough depth. We don't have enough guys up front. We don't have enough defensive tackles, man. Roy Robertson-Harris got a new contract. Not great, man. Not great. Gotsis is a role player. Counted on him too much. Fatukasi, free agent addition 2 years ago. I don't know, man. Devin Lloyd traded up to get him. I don't know, man. Tyson Campbell, regress. Maybe injuries. Probably injuries. Still. Cisco had a nice interception today, finally, but too many times not making plays. Evan Ingram, huge year. Had a critical drop today for an interception, though. Let's hear from him.
Could you just not find the magic, the spark, or whatever it was that you're missing the last 6 weeks that you had?
Obviously not. Obviously not.
Obviously, you guys make a ton of plays, but is it just one more? How this game usually comes down to a few, but what do you see out there on some of them that you guys could have had?
Look, I had a turnover. I was part of a turnover today. I got to make that play. We're on the 1 yard line. It's our responsibility to get in the end zone. There's a lot of things, man. There's just a lot of things that put us in this position. I'm lost for words, honestly.
Josh said it felt like at times, because last year you guys found that spark down the backstretch of the season, that you were searching for a similar spark. Is that how you would kind of evaluate the situation?
Honestly, don't know. We're in the NFL. We're here for a reason. We're all capable of making plays. We're all capable of coming together and winning games. And we didn't do that today. We were 8-3 at one point, and we didn't do it. We just didn't do it. Just didn't do it. What we're capable of doing. The potential of this team, we didn't fulfill it. So.
You mentioned it's not going to be the same DNA. I know you're not the GM, but what are you guys missing? Are you missing something in here?
There's a lot of things. You're right. I'm not the GM, but there are a lot of things that a lot of things that went wrong this year were in our control. A lot more things we did to ourselves than things that happened to us, honestly.
Evan Ingram had a great line, and I couldn't agree more. The potential of this team, we didn't fulfill it. And we're all at a loss. We're all at a loss for words. He's at a loss. I'm at a loss. I'm sure everyone's at a loss for words. The potential of this team, we didn't fulfill it. That's what happened with our 2023 Jaguars. And again, I stated it this morning. There's no in between. Either win today, you're AFC South champs, everybody's happy, everybody's thrilled, you host a playoff game, life is good. You lose today, epic fail, major disappointment. Worst winning team in Jags history. Worst, most hollow franchise feeling in the history of this Jaguars of 29 years. You won 9, you lost 8, but you got nothing to show for it. Nothing. It's not like we're a young team. We were 7-8. We won our last 2. We're 9-8. Hip, hip, hooray. No, sir. 8-3 to 9-8 with a win over Carolina, who looked like, you know the answer to that. I mean, come on. Disappointment. Rules. Terrible home record. Cost them, right? Terrible home record. What did we lose, 5 at home this year? Awful. You go up to Tennessee and you lay an egg. We're done. We apologize. We'll have Doug Peterson tonight on Action Sports Jax Primetime. We'll have Trevor Lawrence as well. They're going to say the same stuff, searching for answers. 9-8, 9-8. No postseason this year, gang. It's unbelievable. I can't believe football season is over. One of the worst ever. It's just, appreciate you watching. It's the postgame show. We'll get you wrapped up tonight on Action Sports Jax Primetime. We'll see you at 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. I'm leaving. Bye.
Jags Nation, thanks for watching the Action Sports Jax postgame show. Sponsored by Farrah & Farrah, the exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars.